Please be seated. It's okay. Welcome to the 2019 hooding ceremony for master's degree candidates at Eastern Connecticut State University. I am Elizabeth Scott, Interim Dean of the School of Education and Professional Studies and the Graduate Division. This ceremony is a special recognition of those students who have completed the requirements for the degrees Master of Science in Accounting, Organizational Management, Early Childhood Education, Educational Technology, Elementary Education, Secondary Education, and Educational Studies. Joining me on the stage are administrators, faculty, students, and our guest speaker. In the front row are Dr. Elsa Nunez, President of Eastern Connecticut State University, Dr. William Salka, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, today's speaker, Ms. Elisa Grinnell, and Dr. Mark Fabrizi, who will be the reader today. Also on stage, some in the front row and some along, are Dr. Ann Anderberg, Associate Professor of Education, Dr. Tanya Moorhead, Assistant Professor of Education, Dr. Mo Rajoub, Coordinator of the Masters in Accounting Program, Dr. Candace Deal, Associate Professor of Accounting, Dr. Wayne Buck, Coordinator of the Masters in Organizational Management Program, and Dr. Peter Bacchiacchi, Professor of Psychology. These are the faculty who will be placing the hoods today. There are also other faculty who are here on stage to share the joy with you and the students. The hood that forms a part of today's academic dress was originally a head covering attached to the robe. Over time, it has come to represent the wearer's university and discipline. The edging or the trim of the hood is a wide velvet band, the color of which indicates the academic area in which the degree is held. As the students entered the concert hall today, they were carrying their hoods over their left arms. You may have noted that the velvet bands were either drab for business or light blue for education. The silk lining in the back signifies the university that is awarding the degree. Eastern's lining is blue and white. Hooding ceremonies provide a way to recognize the transition from student to colleague. This is why the faculty members are the ones to place the hoods. Once they have been hooded, master students may wear their hoods, as they will in the university commencement ceremony next week, when their degrees will be conferred. Please join me now in welcoming Eastern's president, Dr. Elsa Nunez.
What a joyous occasion, and how wonderful to have you here celebrating with our students. And congratulations to the students who will be graduating with their master's degrees in accounting, education, or organizational management in just 3 days. We have 84 people eligible to receive their master's degree this year, and that's a very high number for Eastern, and we're proud of each of the students. But the graduates who are here, help me in thanking your families, because we all know that there's always a support system needed to achieve what we've achieved. So thank you to the families for all that you've done for our graduates. And I also want to welcome back the alums from the Organizational Management Program. They're here to celebrate also Commencement Weekend. We love having you on campus. Going to college at any time of life, regardless of circumstances, is a huge undertaking. I know that many of our graduates today earned their degrees while working full-time as school teachers or in other professional settings. For many of you, it was not easy. And you and your families know of the sacrifices you have made and the self-discipline you had to exhibit in getting to this point today, and you deserve to be honored in this way. Bravo to all of you. We are very proud of you. Eastern is very proud very, very proud. Completing your master's program is a symbol of your commitment to lifelong learning and an opportunity for you to make even greater contributions in your jobs and in your communities with the knowledge and the skills that you have developed. And we ask each of you to always think about giving back. You've gotten a lot, so give a lot back to your local communities. And while earning potential may not be the first measure on your list of how you will evaluate the success of your graduate degree at Eastern, know this. The Georgetown Center on Education and the Workforce found in a recent study that among 15 fields of study they analyzed, the median earnings of those with a graduate degree are 40% higher than those who only have a bachelor's degree. I know your degree will pay off. I hope your graduate degree from Eastern provides many rewards, both financial and otherwise, to you as you pursue your careers. Eastern will be holding on Tuesday its 129th commencement. For almost half of our existence since 1958, we have offered a master's degree in education. That is certainly fitting, of course, today, as education has always been a core of Eastern's mission. Whether preparing future teachers, providing certification opportunities, offering master's degrees, or improving the pedagogy on our campus in 40 disciplines, we are focused on teaching at Eastern. This is why so many Eastern graduates, both undergraduates and teaching professionals, return to Eastern to get their master's degrees, end up earning Teacher of the Year and other awards across the state. We also prepare outstanding principals, superintendents, and other educational professionals in our education programs. I want to recognize our alums and graduates in the organizational management program. Many students in the program are staff members here at Eastern and are seeking to improve their credentials. Others work and live throughout Connecticut, Eastern Connecticut, and other parts of Connecticut as well. To all of you, congratulations on working hard to expand your skills as leaders in your own workplace. It is all because you've participated in a solid academic program in organizational management. Finally, to our accounting graduates, I say well done. You are the fourth graduating class of important programs designed to prepare students for the CPA exam. Eastern ranks #1 in the state of Connecticut in the passing rate on the first try in the CPA exam. And that's because we graduate outstanding accounting students. And it's one of the 20 fastest growing occupations in America, so you have bright futures ahead of you. To all our graduates, congratulations. You now have a professional degree to build on your undergraduate experience. You do yourselves, your families, and Eastern very proud. And we are all going to say, go Warriors, when I count to 3. 1, 2, 3, go Warriors!
Thank you, President Nunez. At this time, Provost and Vice President Dr. William Salka will greet the master's degree candidates.
Thank you, Dean Scott. Today I would like to congratulate you as colleagues. On Tuesday, when your degrees are conferred, or after your comprehensive exams are graded and your degrees are conferred, you will become one of the small percentage of people in this country to not only have earned a bachelor's degree, but an advanced degree as well. This event allows us to recognize your special accomplishments of mastery of your fields, be that accounting, organizational management, or education. We look forward to conferring your degrees on Tuesday, when we will recognize you first among the graduates in our program. I would also like to acknowledge the sacrifice that has been made by your families and friends. We have kept you away from them while you were studying or attending classes to complete your degrees at Eastern. We also ask for your family and friends' patience again on Tuesday, when we ask you, as our graduates, to set an example for the undergraduates in attendance as well. We ask that you set an example of how professionals behave in such a program. And what we're really asking you to do is remain in your seats after you've crossed the stage while the undergraduates are processing across the stage as well. So again, I would like to congratulate you and wish you the best as you go out into the world and continue to make Eastern proud.
Thank you, Dr. Salka. Every year we rotate the program which chooses the speaker for this event. This year it was the education program's turn. It took very little time for the education faculty to come back with a name, Elisa Grinnell. We first met her when she was an undergraduate student here, but she demonstrates the kind of excellence that comes from Connecticut's public universities. Mrs. Quenelle has a BA in English from UConn, a BS in middle-level education from Eastern, an MS in Reading and Language Arts from Eastern, and a 6-year degree in educational leadership from Central Connecticut State University. She is certified to teach grades 4 to 8 in both math and language arts and holds her administration certification. Recently, Mrs. Grinnell has earned her superintendent certification. Mrs. Grinnell taught at Timothy Edwards Middle School in South Windsor for 11 years. She taught language arts in grades 6 to 8 and math in grade 6. Currently, Mrs. Grinnell is the principal at the Horace W. Porter School in Columbia. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Good morning. I'm finishing up this spring cold, so please excuse me as I work through this. Welcome, Dr. Elizabeth Scott, honored professors, faculty, families, and graduates. My name is Elisa Quenelle, and I'm so excited to be here today to celebrate this wonderful accomplishment with you. I must admit, it took me some time to decide what I was going to share with you today as you begin the next chapter of your life. And what I realized is that sometimes we are all too quick to dismiss our individual experiences as worthy. In a world where the whole may be greater than the sum of its parts, we sometimes forget that it's the parts that make us who we are, establishes what we value, and decides what we hold as most dear. So I decided to share two of my parts, two snapshots of my story that, like most of your stories, I'm sure, are full of ups and downs. But through the love and support of the community you embrace, coupled with dedication and perseverance, you pull through and succeed in the end. I think that it's important that I give you a background of my childhood. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you a daily chronicle, but I will give you a little warning that there are some difficult parts in my story. So my family immigrated to the United States from Italy in the late 1950s. So I'm first generation, born here. When they came, some of my family were already here a year or two, and they all moved in next to each other. So in most cases, we were walking distance. At this time, there weren't many, if at all, EL programs, and so when my dad went to school, he didn't know English and had to learn as he went. It was so important that the family learned English that he and his siblings would teach the family when they came home. While Italian was the main language spoken at home, when I was born, I didn't learn Italian because at that time they were more concerned with me learning English. Luckily, school came easily for me. I had some slight setbacks. I had a speech impediment, I lisped, and had some odd phrases that I learned from bad English at home, like close the light. But overall, not a big deal. As I got older, I had a strong work ethic. I got good grades, played basketball, softball, field hockey, babysat for many, including many of my sisters. I'm the oldest of 6. I worked in a grocery store when I turned 15, eventually worked as a waitress at Friendly's after learning the ropes in my grandparents' pizza restaurant. From the outside, I appeared to be a well-rounded young lady. High school graduation came. I had the honor of singing the Star Spangled Banner solo. I'm not doing it now. And I went off to college. My job transferred, many of my friends from high school went as well, and while it was a big campus, we still would run into each other in various classes, and one of my good friends lived down the hall from me. During my first year, I didn't have a roommate. If you think back on your early college years, you might be thinking, wow, that must have been awesome. Actually, it was the worst possible thing that could have happened to me. But in retrospect, I think it was the catalyst for my future actions. At some point in November, I stopped going to class. There was no one in my dorm room to witness this, and I didn't have to answer to anyone at home. I continued to go to work, and no one thought twice of it. When the end of the semester came, you might imagine what my grades were. Yes, I had flunked all of my classes. I was home for the break when we got the news, and my father said to me, "Look, you have a great job at Friendly's." I was a shift supervisor at this point. "You don't have to go back to school. You have a good job." Now, out of fairness, I don't think my father meant that in a negative way. Besides, no one else in the family had gone to college, and he graduated with his GED, so there was no expectation at this point. Well, I thought about what he said, but decided that I wasn't ready to quit yet. So I got an appointment with an academic advisor, Gay Douglas. I still remember her name 26 years later. With some agreements of having to prove myself, I got readmitted, but the 0.0 grade point average stayed with me through the degree, which made it difficult to get ahead. I completed my second semester without failing, went home for the summer, and came back ready to start. So you might be thinking right now, well, that's not so bad. We all make mistakes, have our ups and downs, especially when you're 18, and clearly it couldn't have been all that bad because here I am today, right? Before I go on to part 2 of my story, let me give you another version of this story, a behind-the-scenes look, if you will. My mother turned 16, and 2 days later, I was born. My dad had just turned 18 in March, and by the time I was 3, my parents got divorced. Unfortunately, it was not always a happy household. Starting around 5 years old, I became a victim of many types of abuse. You can see the bumps, scrapes, and bruises, but since I played sports, they all just blended in. I worked and got good grades, so no one suspected anything more. The family's business stayed in the family. Eventually, some of the things that were happening started to get noticed. By the time I got to high school, I ended up in the hospital, and the doctors thought I was going to die because my spleen was in bad shape. For part of my freshman year of high school, I lived with a foster family, but returned home because I was told that if I didn't press charges, my sisters wouldn't be split up. When I was a senior in high school, I lived with my mom in Maine for the first half of the year, but eventually I had to move back with my dad for the rest of the year. When I went to college, I started to feel anxious because for the first time in my life, I was really on my own and didn't have to worry about being hit. This became very difficult for me to process, and I stopped going to class. I had failed out, but I didn't know who to talk to about having trouble in school. During this time, I met John, he later became my husband, who helped guide and support me through these obstacles. I was reaccepted, and when I shared this story with Miss Douglas, she told me to share it with the professors and ask them to drop the F so I could start over. I did ask, but not one of them dropped the course. I pushed through, went home, came back, and became an emancipated minor. As an emancipated minor, I was able to take out a loan in full amount in my own name so I can continue at school. I had decided that I was staying and I was going to change. I had a long road in front of me still, but this was a big step. I moved into an apartment, became an assistant manager at Friendly's, and I never went home again. Life is a mystery, and life can be seemingly unfair, but you can never underestimate the power of the connections and the community you create. They will become your lifeline, sometimes for professional purposes, and I would argue, more importantly, for personal ones as well. What allowed me to do what I needed to at this point and beyond was because of the support I received from the community I had built around me. The relationships that you nurture become your family. Many more struggles happened after this point. However, wonderful things happened too. I developed my relationship with John, bought a house, got married, had 2 sons, Ben and Anderson, then later adopted our dog Dexter. Through the many and varied experiences, I met people along the way. I was building my community, my family. Now, we are in the year 2015. Everything seemed to be settling in. I was accepted to an executive leadership program and took my first course in the summer. The school year started, and I was home for the long weekend. Working outside with the family, something happened to me, and no one knew what was wrong, so I was rushed to the hospital. I was walking funny, and after hours of being watched, I was told that while I was still walking like a drunken sailor, everything was fine and I could go home. I didn't go to work, and 5 days later, with my symptoms worsening and my husband worried about me, he brought me to my doctor. He took my blood pressure, and it was in the 200s. I don't recall the exact number, but that's not good. I was rushed back to the hospital. They had to have missed something. As it turns out, I had a stroke. And if I had waited any longer, I could have died. That makes it twice in my life. Now, I have to wonder, which path am I on? The 3 strikes and you're out? Or I have 9 lives like a cat? Because it would be helpful to know how many chances I have left. All kidding aside, I once again was taken out of my life, not by choice, but by an action. I had to start again. I had to stop my classes, and it was scary. I could read, but I couldn't understand what I was reading. This is what my life depended on. I was out of work to heal. My speech and certainly my writing were jumbled. My balance was completely off, and for everyone's sake, I wasn't allowed to drive. Soon, I recovered enough to return back to work in October. My doctor said it was too soon, but I felt like I had to go back. He agreed to a 4-day work week. In retrospect, I should have stayed out longer. Immediately, I could tell I was different. My personality had changed. I was unable to remember the conversations and simple tasks that needed to be completed. I had to redefine who I was and how I did things. I had just turned 40 in May, and I thought I had this down. It took longer than I had thought to get through this, but considering it was a brain injury, I guess I should have been more patient. Over the next few years, I would mostly heal. I am thankful that there aren't any physical effects, but I still struggle sometimes with remembering things and certainly recall. Mostly it comes and goes, which is most annoying, but I work with it. So what have I learned through these trying times? Facebook is good at helping when it comes to summing things up. Pay close attention pay close attention to who is cheering you on. And I would add, who is there when it's most needed as well. And if your friends aren't part of that circle of support, then you may need to reevaluate. Cultivate relationships, nurture connections, and build close networks, for they are all part of your community and your family. This is a small sample of the many parts that make up my whole, and there are many other parts that are out there as well. I will leave you with some things to think about as you continue your journey. No one will know of your stories unless you share them. For the everyday boss, colleague, peer, what you do will never be enough. Someone will always want more, but that's just human nature. But you are more than enough. If you are always you, then you will be enough. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Now, don't let me fool you. I fully realize that this advice is much easier to give than to act on. I am the worst when it comes to following advice, especially my own, even if I know it to be true. So remember, you need to be your own worst enemy and win. So knowing of this fierce competition, it is important to be armed with perseverance. Perseverance is determination, a drive that helps you to resolve challenges as they are presented. Challenges should not be seen as a negative, but rather as a purposeful step that needs to be overcome in order to achieve your goal. It is these challenges you must endure and meet head-on with fortitude. At this point, you have demonstrated perseverance by graduating today. Now you may have a clear image of the next goal that you are trying to reach. I ask you then, What are the obstacles that you need to consider and contend with in order to move forward? And how do you know if you have prevailed? Don't forget, there may be obstacles that you don't know of yet. And most importantly, who do you bring on your journey? Who is in your community? And who do you take in as family along the way? So get ready, take a breath, and enjoy this great achievement while surrounded by your friends and family. My deepest congratulations to you all. You are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Grinnell. At this time, I would like to recognize those students who have met the requirements for the degree Master of Science at Eastern Connecticut State University. When Professor Mark Fabrizi calls your name, please cross to receive congratulations from the president, the provost, and me, and then you'll proceed to the far side and stand on that X on the floor so that your families can see you, the photographer can see you, and your faculty can place your hood. Will Drs. Rujab and Deal prepare to hood the accounting students? Will the president and provost please stand to congratulate the graduate students of 2019?
I ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Accounting to come forward. Omalayo Ajakai. David Boravsky. Mitchell Nixon. Joshua Oyu. Jimmy Ewan. Will Drs. Buck and Bakiaki prepare to hood the organizational management candidates? I now call forward the students who have completed the requirements for the Master of Science in Organizational Management. Vanessa Barros. Meredith Filto. Mackenzie Germain. Frederick Hune. Jill Karenberg Crane. Samantha Landry. Maria Martinez. Lauren Polanski. Will Doctors Anderberg and Moorhead prepare to hood the education candidates? I now ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Education to come forward. I ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Educational Studies to come forward. Jenna Cardoso. Taylor Eck. Leisha Flynn. Michelle Leah Kubis. I now ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Educational Technology to come forward. Corey Tobler. I now ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Early Childhood Education to come forward. Rachel Chirico. Michelle Eigner. Julia Hagman. Mariah McPhee. Abigail Pinney. Rochelle Strimple. Julia Vasquez. I now ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Elementary Education to come forward. Abigail Allard. Alicia Biscay. Shanice Cook. Samantha Craig. Danielle Dumay. Justine Lambert. Peter Larson. Nora McKay. Sophia Mamoris. Olivia Pay. Thomas Panati. Karen Sabisky. I now ask the students who are receiving the degree Master of Science in Secondary Education to come forward. Miguel Barrientos. Julia Bonadies. Mackenzie Brower. Tyler Burleson. Katie Case. Jessica Durkin. Janira Hernandez. Nicholas Houle. Tyler Martin. Kelsey McCarthy. Adam Phelps. Angela Ruiz.
Congratulations. We celebrate every master's candidate, and it is fitting that you receive this special recognition for your transition from student to colleague. You have demonstrated commitment, intellectual growth, and leadership capacity. We look forward to seeing you again at Commencement on Tuesday, May 21st, where you will wear your academic hood as a symbol of your mastery of your discipline. This concludes the hooding ceremony for 2019. Thank you. I ask that our guests in the concert hall remain seated as President Nunez leads the recessional out. I ask all persons on stage to rise and prepare to recess.